back to GSTEC's 5-minute Sabbath School Summary. This lesson, we will take a look from Sabbath School lesson number 7 with the title, The Bread and Water of Life. The memory verse for this lesson is taken from Exodus 16, verse 28 until 30. And the Lord said to Moses, How long do you refuse to keep my commandment and my laws? See, for the Lord has given you the Sabbath. Therefore, he gives you on the 6th day the bread for 2 days. Let every man remain in his place. Let no man go out of his place on the 7th day. So the people rested on the 7th day. So, if you look to this verse, we are looking at the journey of Israel, a journey that filled with thirst, hunger, confusion, and sometimes grumbling, but more importantly, a journey filled with the faithfulness of God. Let's see from where it all began. In Genesis 3, verse 1 until 6, back in Eden, Eve looked at the forbidden fruit. It looked good, it promised wisdom, it offers something more. But in reaching for that fruit, mankind began hungering for life apart from God. So just like Eve in Eden, the Israelites doubted God's word. And fast forward to the wilderness in Exodus chapter 15 until 18. God had just delivered Israel from Egypt with power and miracles. But 3 days in, they're thirsty. They find water, but it's bitter, so they complain. And what does God do? God instructs Moses to throw a piece of wood into the water, and it becomes sweet. So this moment showed that God can transform bitterness into blessing when we trust Him. In Exodus 16, the people grumble again. There's no food, so God sends manna, bread from heaven, every single morning. But here's the catch. They could only collect enough for the day. If they hoarded it, it spoiled, except on the 6th day when they gathered double for the Sabbath. So this taught trust, obedience, and the holiness of the Sabbath rest. This shows God patient and proficient even when His people doubt to Him. In Exodus 17, again, the people complain, this time about the thirst again. And God tells Moses to strike a rock and water flows, not just a trickle, but it's enough for the whole nation in the desert. As Paul explained in 1 Corinthians 10, verse 4, they drank from the spiritual rock that followed them, and the rock was Christ. In book of 1 Corinthians 10, verse 11, Paul reminds us that the experiences of Israel in the wilderness were not just history, they're examples and warning for us. These stories were written for our instruction, so we would learn to trust and follow God's provision. We too live in the spiritual wilderness at times, seasons of dryness, uncertainty, or struggle. Of course, we complain, we worry, and we forget. But God, He still provides. He still gives bread, He still poured out and living water. Besides these physical aspects, bread and water also had a spiritual significance. For Jesus Christ is the bread of life, John 6, verse 48, and the living water, John 7, verse 37 and 38. Only in Him our spiritual thirst and hunger truly be satisfied. In Exodus 18, before they reach Sinai, we see Moses worn out. He trying to lead alone. Then Jethro, his father-in-law, steps in. He tells Moses, you cannot carry this by yourself. Delegate, share the burden. So what can we learn? Maybe some of us are hungry, thirsty, and burnt out. Not because God is not providing, but because we are carrying what we are never meant to carry alone. Remember that Jesus is not our bread and water. He is also rest. So let us ourselves, are we hungry today? Let's come to the bread of life. Are we thirsty today? Drink from the rock who was struck for us. Are we tired? Let Jesus carry the load. Because Jesus said, whoever comes to me will never go hungry, and whoever believes in me will never thirst. In John 6, verse 35. This all for the summary for lesson number 7. Thank you and God bless.